Welcome to Evolution, my channel about electric cars from a different perspective. And what do all of these electronic devices and appliances have in common? Well, they're all supposed to be able to be powered with this connected to the charge port of my Kia EV6 using the V2L function. If you want to find out how it works or if it works, stick around, I'll show you in 10 seconds. An important note is that this is the Kia EV6 GT Line Pack 2 here in Canada. It is the top trim and includes all of the features, including the vehicle-to-load adapter that comes with the car. Now, if you want the vehicle-to-load and you have a GT Line Pack 1 or lower, then you'll have to purchase it separately from the Kia Canada website. But as a tip, Hyundai Canada has the vehicle-to-load adapter for the Ioniq 5. It is exactly the same product and it's half the price based on what I've seen on comments on Facebook groups. So if you don't want to spend $650 at the Kia site for the vehicle-to-load adapter, you can get it for about $300 at Hyundai Canada. So where exactly is the vehicle-to-load adapter when you get your Kia EV6 GT Line Pack 2? Well, in Canada, the EV6 comes with a level 1 charger and it's in the trunk in this nifty little case. Now, all you have to do, open up this case and you've got the level 1 charger here, and right behind it, you've got this little case for the vehicle-to-load adapter. Now, the nice thing is that it is and can be stored separately. You can put it in the front of the car because it is small enough. And this is what it looks like. So how exactly is this supposed to work? Let me show you. To get the vehicle-to-load adapter to work with your Kia EV6 or Hyundai Ioniq 5, it's actually quite simple. All you have to do is start by unlocking the doors. Once you've got the doors unlocked, you open the charge port. And with the charge port open, you now have 60 seconds to connect the vehicle-to-load adapter or it won't work. So press the little thumb button to release the cover here. Insert it into the charge port of the car. There are two more things to do before you can get something to work. The first is to open the bottom cover on the bottom of the adapter. That's by squeezing on these here and then pulling down. The plug on the inside is a 110 volt plug in North America. It's not like in Europe with a 240 volt, which would be cool because you can get more power out of it. Now it's just a matter of connecting the wire of the first thing that we're going to try, which is the hair dryer. Now if you go camping and you need to dry your hair, not that I have much, my wife has hair, this could be convenient. It is a polarized plug, so the large blade goes on the inside of the connector. That's this right here. It is a tight fit. Once that's connected, all you have to do is press the power button on the back of the adapter here. The car gives a little audible tone to tell you that it's working, and then you've got a light on the top of the adapter that says that it's good to go because it's green. And then let's see if it works. There it is. On a camping trip, my wife will be able to dry her hair with a 1500 watt hair dryer straight on the vehicle-to-load. Now you've got your hair dry at your camping site, you might want to make yourself a cup of tea or a bowl of oatmeal. I've got the kettle plugged in with a little bit of water in it and it's powered up, so let's see if this will boil. I'm guessing it will because the kettle has the display lit up here. I don't know how many amps or watts it pulls. It's an older unit I've had for a couple of years. I've gone ahead and preheated the water in the house and let's see what happens. That's starting to boil. I don't know if you can hear that, but that is actually working. So test number 2, boiling water in a kettle from the vehicle-to-load adapter, not a problem. But what if you're like me and you want a decent coffee? I've got a Nespresso machine. Let's see if I can get the Nespresso machine and the frother to work on the vehicle-to-load adapter and see what happens. When I make my coffee with my Nespresso machine, I start the milk frother first so that I can get the milk warm and then the coffee will be ready faster. So I've decided to connect both devices to a power bar and connect the power bar to the vehicle-to-load adapter. And they should both work in theory because the milk frother doesn't take very much power. It's just the Nespresso machine and the water heater that does draw a decent amount of current. So let's find out if this works. I'll turn on the power bar here. The light is green, the vehicle-to-load light is green, so in theory I should be able to start the milk frother, and that's spinning and working, and it's red, so it's heating up. Now let's start the Nespresso machine. Press that, give it a bit of time for the water to warm up. There's no capsule in there, so I don't waste the coffee, but it's working. So test number 2, if you want coffee in the morning and you got your Nespresso machine and your frother at your camping site, you're kind of a princess like me, it's gonna work. Now that your hair's dry, you've got your tea and your coffee, you're gonna need some toast to go with that. So I've got my 4-slice toaster that I use in the house connected to the vehicle-to-load adapter. I'll just power it up here. And the toaster turns on, the screen is on, and the lights around the dial are lit. So basically, it's just a matter of, does it draw too much power for the circuit or will it work? So we'll start with 2 slices. That should be fine, theoretically. And that is buzzing. And getting hot. Everything's normal, so good sign, but what about a second set of slices? Well, that also lit. And that's getting hot. Circuit hasn't stopped working, so it's a go. 4 slices of toast to go with your coffee and tea. Not a problem with the vehicle-to-load adapter. Connecting these appliances to your vehicle-to-load adapter one at a time is convenient, but it's not really how you use them in your kitchen. So what happens when you connect 2 devices at the same time or more onto a power bar that's connected to your vehicle-to-load adapter? Now, I'm 99.99999% sure that this is not going to work because the power draw from these 2 devices is far too high for this adapter to work, but let's give it a shot. So the first thing we're going to do is power on the kettle, and I see that that's lit. I've got the screen of the toaster that's lit saying that it's ready to go as well. We'll let the water boil for a second, or warm up for a second. It's drawing a lot of power right now. And then we will start the toaster. There you go. Basically, the circuit breaker has now tripped. The vehicle-to-load adapter saw that there was too much power draw, and they've stopped working. Now, what do you do when this happens? There are 2 ways to reset the vehicle-to-load adapter. You can either go into the car, power it on, power it back off, and this will start to work again, or you can do it the easier way since you're already back here, and that's unlock the doors to unlock the vehicle-to-load adapter. Disconnect it for a second, and then reconnect it to the car. The light goes green, you get the audible tone, and everything is working again. Now, what happens when you connect the toaster and the Nespresso machine? Is that too much of a power draw? Let's find out. I've connected the toaster, Nespresso machine, and the frother to the power bar and to the vehicle-to-load adapter. The light is green on the adapter, it's ready to test. I have not turned on the power bar because the Nespresso machine will draw power to warm up the water heater first. So I'm going to start with that and see what happens when I power on the toaster at the same time. So I'll turn on the power bar, press on the button to get the Nespresso machine to start warming. I can hear it do its little sound for warming it up, and I'll start the toaster. Now, as expected, the power draw of the water heater, much like the kettle, is too high combined with the toaster for the vehicle to load, and it tripped the circuit breaker. So I'll reset this so that we can do another test. What if you want to power another electric car, like my wife's Kia Soul back there, because she's, say, stranded on the side of the road? Well, I've got the charger adapter for that car, and let's plug it in and see what happens. I've got my wife's 2019 Kia Soul EV parked behind my EV6, and I'll start by connecting the vehicle to load adapter. So I'll just take the cover off, pop the charge port door, plug it in, open the cover, and I'll power it on. I got the audible tone and I've got a green light, so now I can connect my wife's level 1 charging station, the EV-SE, that I've got right here. And I will start by putting this on the ground. Now this is indicating that it is at level high. In other words, it'll pull the most amperage that it can. Then I will take this and connect it to her car. I heard a click there, and I now have blue lights. The car is now charging. Now, unfortunately, the 2019 Soul EV doesn't have a power draw indicator for while it's charging. It just says how much time is left and the percentage on the screen. So We'll take for granted that it's pulling the maximum, which is probably 1.4 kilowatts, 1.3 kilowatts, which is pretty awesome, because if you're stuck and you need to charge another car on the road, this will get you out of a jam. At the end of your day of camping, once you've had your breakfast, your tea, your coffee, and toast, and then you've helped somebody by charging up their car with your V2L adapter, you can finish the day off with a bit of home theater using a laptop and a projector connected to the power bar in the V2L adapter, and then using a Bluetooth speaker to get some decent sound and projecting it onto a screen like I've got back here. So I'm going to wait for the sun to come down, light all this up, and show you what it looks like. Now that the sun has gone down, you can see that I've got my laptop and my old Epson bulb projector hooked up to the power bar and the vehicle-to-load adapter, and it works exactly as it should. Now this is an old bulb unit, not a low-powered LED unit, and I've got it set to the highest setting, so it's drawing as much power as it can. And my laptop is also connected with the AC adapter to the power bar, and it works perfectly well. Now these aren't drawing a ton of power, and I expected it to work as it should. So if you want a camping theater night, a couple Bluetooth speakers, a laptop, and your projector, and you're good to go. Having the vehicle-to-load adapter on the outside is very convenient, but did you know that the EV6 also has a port on the inside? It's got a 110 outlet hidden underneath the back seat. Now it's very easy to access, and I'll show you how to get to that in a second, but the question is, if you don't have a power bar to use the frother and Nespresso machine together on the V2L adapter in the back, can you plug the Nespresso machine onto the V2L outside and the frother on the inside? The 110 volt outlet in the back of the EV6 is actually right back here underneath the back seat. Now it's got a little protective cover that's locked when you get the car, and the key that's inside the key fob is what's needed to open it. To remove the key from the key fob, all you have to do is press and hold this button here and pull the key out. Once you've got the key released, the tip of the key fits into this little opening, twist gently to the unlock position, and then you can slide the cover open. Now that you've got access to the port, let's plug in the milk frother before we plug in the V2L adapter and see how it works. Much like the USB ports in the EV6, the car has to be powered on for the AC outlet to work, so I've gone and turned on the car, and I've got my milk frother in its position, so let me plug it in and get it working. You'll notice that there's a blue light. The blue status light means that the port is in standby and waiting for you to connect something to it. Now when I connect the device to the port, it turns red and then turns green. Now it may take longer to turn green the time that the car detects something has been connected, but once it's green, press the power button, my milk frother is spinning and heating up. So the 110 outlet in the back of the EV6 works just like the V2L outlet. The question is, can you use the V2L with the AC outlet in the back connected at the same time? Let's find out. I've got the milk frother connected to the AC outlet inside the EV6, and the car is powered on, so that should still be functional. But something that I've found out by doing some testing and re-recording this about 1,000 times is that the inside port is actually linked to the V2L adapter, and I'm not sure exactly how the logic works, but I do know that if I've used the V2L adapter, the inside port will deactivate once I remove the adapter, and it'll only work again if I power cycle the car. In other words, turn the car off and then turn it back on. So right now, that outlet is showing as red, even though I've got my frother connected to it, whereas before, it worked before I tried the V2L adapter. So I've got my Nespresso machine right here, I've got my V2L adapter, and it's ready to be plugged in. So let me open this port up, connect the V2L adapter, power it on, it locked, the light goes green, and now I know that the port inside the car has lit green as well because it's linked in some weird way with the V2L adapter. Now I've got my Nespresso machine, it is powered on. Press it a second time, it'll start brewing. Let's go have a look at the milk frother. Now the port turned green the minute I plugged in and powered on the V2L adapter, so I can now start my frother. That's spinning, warming up, and my Nespresso machine is now also brewing. So you can use both ports, just like with the power bar on the V2L adapter. I can have both of these devices working because they don't draw too much power, and it works exactly as intended. Although I'm confident that I could use the EV6 to run those appliances and electronics for days on end because my car has a 77.4 kilowatt hour battery pack, there may be a situation where you want to limit how much power the car gives out, and that way you don't drain your battery. Now there is a vehicle-to-load menu in the touchscreen of the Kia EV6. Let me show you how to get to that now. From this main screen, you can get to it quite easily by tapping on the electric car, and it brings you to the EV page, and at the bottom right you've got EV charge transfer, V2L, tap on that, and this is where you can set the minimum state of charge. In other words, when does your EV6 stop giving power to the V2L port? Now by default it's set to 20%, but I've set it to 30. And that's it. Once you set your V2L menu to the minimum state of charge, use it all day long and not have to worry about draining your battery. I've discovered two things since recording the rest of this video, and that includes what follows this segment. Now, speaking of what follows this segment, did you know that at the end of all of my videos, I've got bloopers and outtakes of me kind of making a fool of myself? Well, if you watch the entire video and you've got context, then it might give you a good laugh, so you might want to check that out at the very end. Now, what are the two things that I've discovered? Well, the first thing is the logic between the vehicle-to-load adapter and the inside AC port. I said it was kind of weird logic, but it's actually very smart and not weird at all. Now, the inside AC port works, as I mentioned, when you turn on the power in the car, just like the USB ports. That inside AC port will work when you plug something into it. But if you're using the vehicle-to-load adapter, when you plug the vehicle-to-load adapter and then power it on, the inside AC port will start to work immediately. What that means is if you're outside camping and doing things with the vehicle-to-load, you don't have to come around and turn the car on to get the inside AC port to work. Now, the second thing that I discovered isn't actually a discovery, it's something I just completely forgot to mention because I was so busy plugging in different devices and testing and re-recording segments over and over because I made a lot of mistakes in this video. So lots of bloopers at the end. Now, essentially what it means is that there is actually a vehicle-to-load display in the dashboard even when the car is powered off. So you can actually see exactly how much power is being drawn by whatever is connected to the vehicle-to-load, as well as the AC port when you're using it. Now, I could have used that when I did the test with my wife's car connected to the vehicle-to-load adapter and it was charging. I guessed about 1.2, 1.3 kilowatts. But I could have confirmed it by looking inside the car and I would have seen exactly how much it was drawing. So that's it, on to the next segment. An important note about the Kia EV6 vehicle-to-load power output, as well as with the Hyundai Ioniq 5, because they essentially share the same power and technological platform, the power output rated in Canada and the US is 1.9 kilowatts and 15 amps. Now that's a shared power output for the vehicle-to-load port in the back, as well as the AC 110 volt outlet inside the car. That means that you can't surpass the 15 amps and 1.9 kilowatts with the things that you plug into it, either in a power bar like with this, or sharing with the inside outlet and the vehicle-to-load outlet. Something else that I didn't show up close is the vehicle-to-load adapter's connector. Now on this camera here, if you can see, this is a standard wall socket outlet, but what I found interesting is that there is a ground on the top as well as on the bottom. So I think you can actually reverse the cable and plug it in depending on the direction of the plug that you have on the end of your cable. Also to note, when you put the cable into this, you can close this up and it's got a little rubber gasket to keep dust and a little bit of water out. It isn't watertight, but it is better than nothing. So that is essentially the vehicle-to-load functionality in the Kia EV6. If you have any questions or any suggestions, please put them in the comment section below. I'd also like to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed to my channel so far, because I've surpassed 11,300 subscribers, which is fantastic. If you really like this video, then I would really appreciate you clicking on that subscribe button. It would make me super happy because I have a personal goal of reaching 15,000 subscribers, and every subscription helps. And it helps me get attraction of more manufacturers so that I can do side-by-side comparisons with my EV6 and, let's say, the Ford Mustang Mach-E, because that's the car that I've got in mind for one of my next videos. And if you also like this video, then please click that thumbs up, because YouTube's algorithm loves videos that have lots of likes, and that helps them share it to more people. And once again, thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Welcome to EV-olution. Welcome. Starting well. Welcome. Now, Hyundai and Kia both have the same adapter. Well, in Canada, we also include, I don't work for Kia. All other trims in Canada, we get a level 1 charging case and, charging case. You don't get the charger, you get the case. But it is lit now that it's connected to the charging base. Yeah, because it's a battery-powered tea maker. Uh-huh. When I make my coffee using this, it's cold and I'm wearing a t-shirt. I start the frother first so that I can get the frothy. I can get the froth ready for the. So what do you do once the vehicle-to-load adapter has blown its gasket? Yeah, okay. But I figured I would show you what happens live and then show you what live. It's not live, it's pre-recorded. So what happens when you you choke on your own spit? Ah, that was great. Connecting these devices to your vehicle-to-load behind my car, and I'll start by connecting the vehicle-to-load adapter from, of course, there's a car coming by on a street that doesn't go anywhere. Could slow down a bit. Start by opening the charge port and in sterling, silver. As you can see, now that the sun has gone down a little bit, I've got my projector up and running. Why did I just look at that camera? Projector, and this is an old projector, not an LED projector. This is not an LED projector. Having the vehicle-to-load adapter outside of the car is very convenient. So where's the 110 volt outlet? In the back of the e-niro. You just take the tip of the key and gently put it into this little opening here. It's not locked because I forgot to lock it. That would be the reason I have to start all over. Share a technological platform that's identical. Power draw for the things that you'll plug in. This is going. How is it there's so much traffic today? Holy crap. Take 12. Because they essentially share the same platform. And another freaking car. I live on a horseshoe road that goes nowhere. It's only people who live here that's supposed to be on our street, and yet all day long cars have been going by interrupting my video. Yay. Sharing with the inside outlet and the vehicle-to-load outlet. The planes have started. I'm so happy.